Sure shot, baby!
Good day, guys. This is a new thing I'm trying, and I'm gonna react on the and air my thoughts on the game one and game two of the NBA Finals between the Milwaukee Bucks and the Phoenix Suns. So first, I just wanted to say that the Phoenix Suns, I really did not see this coming. Like I thought they were gonna get upset by the Lakers in the first round, but injuries to AD and not 100% LeBron derailed their chances of repeating. And now the Suns, what makes them exceptional is the system. Coach Monty Williams is able to impart to his players on his system on how Chris Paul is the catalyst of their offense and defense, and how Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, and the rest of the guys complement each other well. This team was built really well. In the offseason, they traded Kelly Oubre and Ricky Rubio to get Chris Paul. And people didn't really like the trade at first because they thought Chris Paul's contract was too big. But here he is proving us wrong. And with his exceptional performance in game one and Devin Booker's impeccable impact on the game in game two, it really showed that the Suns are a really great team. So I think there are a lot of reasons on why they won these first two games. So firstly, Devin Booker, he was amazing. He made like around 7 to 8 threes today, and it was at an efficient rate. He did not rush his shots, and whoever defender was on him, whether PJ Tucker, Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, it didn't matter. He still made his shots. And people say that, like the analytics people, they say that the medium range shots, it's not non-existent, or it's not really an efficient shot anymore in this NBA generation. But Devin Booker and Chris Paul, they're able to still take advantage of the openings of the medium range jumpers. So why do they also have those openings? The Bucks, they play drop coverage on their pick and roll. So Brook Lopez, he does not really go out on the screen and rolls because he's a rim protector. So Chris Paul and Devin Booker took advantage of that in the first two games. And the Bucks tried to switch it on the first half of game one, which is not their strength, by putting PJ Tucker on Chris Paul and Giannis on DeAndre Ayton. And then now they do the drop coverage, and it improved. You see Coach Bud made adjustments for game two. Drew was on CP3, applying pressure almost full court. And Brook Lopez was more active, trying to disrupt the offense of the Suns. But it still didn't muster the result that they want. Mikal Bridges exploded for 27 or 28 points because the Bucks defense, as I mentioned, focuses on the rim and the 3-point line. So the corner is wide open. And Mikal Bridges is one of the best corner 3-point shooters in the league because his role is a 3-and-D player. He just shoots threes and he defends the best offensive players on the other end of the floor. So Mikal was the revelation for this game. Jay Crowder bounced back also today in game two. And he, after a terrible 1 of 8 shooting or 0 of 8 shooting the previous game. So the Suns are really at a great pace. They just need to keep doing what they're doing. Even if Ayton, he had 22 and 19 for the previous game, and then now like he only had 10 and 10 or 10 and 11. But it didn't matter because of the Bridges effect. But yeah, the Suns, sadly, they have two of the role players injured, and I'm not sure if they're gonna come back. With Torrey Craig and Dario Saric. So it's really up to them on how they will still be able to have the pace that they continue to play. So maybe some minutes from Abdel Nader, Etwan Moore, Frank Kaminsky. It's up to Coach Monty, and they're down to their 7 main guys with their starting lineup and Cameron Payne and Cam Johnson. But I still believe the Suns are going to win in 6. That was my prediction initially, but it's more likely now that they'll win in 5 because I'm not sure if Milwaukee can win 2 games in their home floor. And game 5, it's going to be tough for the Bucks to steal that. But in the Bucks side of things, what are some of the things that I've noticed over the course of these 2 games? So Giannis, it's impressive that he's actually even on the floor with the injury that occurred in the game and in the series against the Atlanta Hawks. And he was impressive in game 2, one of a great finals performance with 40 plus points. And 13 rebounds. It was a double-double, and only three other players in history were able to have such a stat line that he had today. So it was a great game for him. However, basketball is not just the individual sport, and Chris Middleton, he's been non-existent the whole series. He's known to start slow, and in series even in the previous rounds, but I think he needs to have an impressive game 3 and game 4 in their home floor if they still want to try to win this championship. Chris Middleton, he's been shooting around 30% from the field, and even Pat Connaughton even had a better shooting night than him. And that's not the answer how, if they want to win it all. So Chris Middleton you needs to step up for game 3, game 4, and the rest of the series if they're able to still extend it. Because Giannis, he's not 100%, but you can see his perseverance and determination to want to win it all, especially during the timeout in the second quarter when he was trying to pump up his teammates, similar to his brother Thanasis. But yeah, Giannis, he was efficient. He still missed a ton of free throws, but you could see that it wasn't affecting his game. He would still drive and still try to have an impact on the defense because, as I previously mentioned, they should continue doing that because the Suns, they're depleted already. They're supposed to be a deep team, but two of their role players are hurt. So if DeAndre Ayton or Jay Crowder get into foul trouble, Coach Monty's going to be forced to pull the plug and put players that aren't really used to playing on the big stage like the finals. So Giannis should continue being more aggressive. And it might also rub off on his teammates because Chris Middleton, yeah, I believe in him. I'm not the biggest fan of him, but he's killed my Celtics numerous times in the playoffs before. So I know what he's capable of doing. And I believe that he can still put on a performance, but I'm not sure if to be able to win the series. And Drew Holiday, he's also one of my favorite players in the league because of his two-way play. One of the best defenders on the league. You could see this game, he played better defensively because in game 1, Paul and Booker just cooked him. Whoever he was on didn't really matter. But here in game 2, he was applying more pressure. And if he was on Booker, Booker barely had space and he needed to have those pick and rolls. But yeah, Chris Paul and Devin Booker, they're really two great guys compared to Trae Young in the previous round, or maybe just Kevin Durant in the round before that. So Drew Holiday has a tough task on the defensive end. So maybe that's why he's getting exhausted also on offense. But they paid him 160 million to go, and they got rid of their draft picks to get him for Eric Bledsoe. And so far, he's been playing the same way as Eric Bledsoe has been in the playoffs the previous years. So Drew needs to improve as well offensively, be the orchestrator for the other shooters such as Bryn Forbes, even Brook Lopez, PJ Tucker. And defensively, he needs to put it up a notch, but it's more on the offense. He can't shoot 25 to 30% from the field. He's the third star. They paid him 160, as I mentioned. They need to find a way to try to win the game on Monday. But there are other players such as PJ Tucker, Brook Lopez. Yeah, Lopez has been adjusted well defensively. PJ Tucker, offensively, he's kind of a liability because he's not a consistent three-point shooter anymore with his corner threes. And Pat Connaughton, yeah, he played well, but I don't know. I think this is the series wherein the Bucks really feel the absence of Dante DiVincenzo. Not a lot of people know him, but I like him. Fantasy player. He's a really great player in fantasy. That's why I really like him. He's a Villanova guy, won a national championship, but now he's not in this series, and his absence wasn't felt in the first 3 rounds. But now, yeah, you could feel that when the Bucks tried to go small, they need to play Pat Connaughton or Bryn Forbes, and it's a mismatch for them because the Suns are gonna attack one of the smaller guards that aren't really great defensively. So I think the Bucks really have a small chance to come back in this series. I think the Suns are gonna win in 6, but some say 5, others even say 4, such as Skip Bayless. But I think the Bucks still have something in him when they something in them when they get into their home floor. Giannis keeps up the same intensity, or even if he can still put it a notch higher. But he's injured. His hyperextended knee might act up, as seen in the possessions a while ago. Coach Bud, yeah, I'm not really a fan of Coach Bud. He doesn't really adjust well because in game 1, yeah, he went with the 5 small, and it was effective for a bit. But you can't bench Brook Lopez because he's one of your best defenders. So he didn't do that this game. But the Suns, they're one of the best play people, best teams in the league that with the two best guards that are able to manufacture their own shots through the pick and roll. It's their plays aren't that difficult to scout. It's just the options and their selflessness because their plays are like horns. The two bigs just set a screen. Aiton gets the ball on top. Booker just pops out and curls, and then he gets an open shot. They do the Spain pick and roll with Booker, Aiton, and CP3. And the defense, they just really don't know what to do. And the two guards of the Suns and Booker and Paul, they act based on what the defense gives them, and they don't just do what the play does. They really have a high basketball IQ, which I think is what's catapulting them to 2 wins away from winning the championship. So I think the Bucks, I don't know what else they can do. Coach Bud, pretty sure he still has something from his bag, similar to the Net series. I thought it was over after game 2, after the blowout, but they adjusted, and the Nets also unfortunately suffered injuries to their 2 star players. But yeah, the Bucks, they've been here. They went through a ton of adversity, especially the last 2 years. Everyone was doubting them, like the Clippers, and the Clippers also made it to the West Finals this year. So the Bucks, yeah, they have 2 final chances to try and win it, and we'll see on Monday if they will. And that's it for me here today. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll try to do more of these in the next games. Thank you.